We wouldn't say, and I got this next quote from Andy, we wouldn't talk about sending your kid across a busy street without looking both ways, would you? I wouldn't. I've got a 5-year-old that's right up above me sleeping in her bedroom right now, and I would not send her across the street in my very own neighborhood without making sure she looked both ways or I looked both ways. Why do we do that at structure fires? How often have we seen people pull up, pop the e-brake, and our guys are inside the building before we've even had a chance to look, do a 360, or check anything out? We do it all the time. I've seen it all the time. We all know, we can talk about it all as much as we want, but we've seen firefighters jump off of fire trucks with SCBA face pieces on. They get those blinders. They get tunnel vision going up to buildings. These are all dangerous things that can happen. And you as the officer, whoever has that thermal imaging camera, as Andy says, it's your job to be the designated adult for the night. So we have to watch their backs, and we have to be the ones to look both ways for them. Taking that quick peek inside the structure, taking a quick peek inside a room, looking for victims, layout, fire location, fire severity, all those different things are going to enhance our crew's ability to work inside of that fire. What does knowing the layout or knowing potential victim location, potential beds, windows, doors, is it a bedroom? Is it a family room? Is there fire in the room? What does knowing that, having that information, what does that do to your crew as they're inside of a fire looking around? All right, we talk about, one of the things that I like to talk about is we are trying to give you your eyes back inside of a structure fire. We're trying to give you your sight back, your vision back. All right, we've all been in those fires that are pitch black, zero visibility, you can't see the hand in front of your face. We're trying to give you that ability to see and have that mental image of the fire. So the first thing that I do when I'm searching with my crew, now I'm very fortunate where I worked. I have a 4-man truck crew that I work with. My guys train a lot. We work together a lot. I work with the same 4 guys every single day, right? Unless vacation season things can get a little crazy. But for the most part, I work with the same 4 guys every single day. They're jam up. They're awesome, and I love them to death. The way we operate is they give me that 2 seconds or 3 seconds, however long it takes me, to take a quick scan low inside of a structure. We'll talk more about scanning technique inside of rooms here in just a little while as well. But we start that search low, and they give me that ability to take that quick scan down low to give them 2 things. Do I see an obvious victim? What's the layout of the room? And what are their potential egress routes? All right. What have I just done for them? I have taken away the need for their brain to think about things that they touch when they touch it as much. All right. If I tell them, go right, you're going to come to a bed, a dresser, then a window, then you're back to me. The first object they hit, they know it's a bed the minute their hands touch it. If they don't have that mental image before they go into a structure fire, when they touch the bed, they don't know it's a bed. When they touch that object, it's going to take time for their brain to evaluate what they're touching, what it is, and how to search it. So that's time. Now it's seconds, but it's seconds that are going to save us minutes in the long run. So I give them the ability to take that extra time for their brain to evaluate, know what's going on inside the building prior to them going in, knowing what they're coming up to inside that room before they go in. It's just another way for us to save time in a fire and bring that survivability profile to a level that we can save victims a lot faster. So where do we find victims at? These stats are updated every day by firefighterrescuesurveys.com. If you haven't looked at their data, I highly, highly, highly recommend it. There is a very broad wealth of data that comes from this, and this stuff is all entered by us. This is not a national database. This is Kurt Isaacson's studies that he does. And I try to update my PowerPoints and my presentations off of it as much as possible. But this is one that I found very, very interesting to us, and that is where are victims actually found, looking at where they are. 10% of our victims are found in the room of origin, all right, the room where the fire actually started. 10% are found in the flow path. All right, so what is the flow path? Typically, that's the area from where we've entered the building to the fire, that area in between, because we typically are creating that flow path most of the time. Now, sometimes it is because people were evacuating or they were leaving or they were coming out that same egress door that they always do, the front door, garage door, whatever the case may be. But it's typically going to be, that flow path is typically going to be that area where we're coming into the building at. But either way, it's that spot between the intake and the exhaust, the fire room and the intake and exhaust that we've just created, where that airflow is going. 10% of our victims are found there. 32% of victims are found in the room adjacent to the fire, the room attached to it, the room across the hall. And 42% are found in a bedroom, which is typically either that room adjacent, the room of origin, or somewhere within the flow path itself. So look at that number, 32% right there in the room adjacent, 10% in the room of origin, and 10% in the flow path. Simply by starting from the seat of the fire, we've just given ourselves a 52% chance of finding the victim every single time. 52% chance simply by starting from the fire and working our way back. Now, I can throw every single fire service manual in the world at you, the Essentials book, Jones and Bartlett, whatever you want to talk about. They all say start from the fire and work your way back. But how many fires does that actually happen with the primary search? I can tell you from my experiences, most crews that go in to search a building, when they're given a primary search, they go through the front door, and where does the search start? At the front door. They take a left or they take a right, and they start searching from right there. There is no thought that goes into, okay, where's the most advantageous place for me to start this search at? Look for that room of origin, look for the flow path, look for the room adjacent, find where victims are most likely to be, get there, go direct to threat and work your way back. Now, does that say that if I peek in the front door and I scan the living room, fire's in a back right-hand bedroom of the house, and I scan the living room and grandma's laying on the couch 10 feet away from me, I'm not going to look and say, hey, grandma, hang on 5 minutes, I'll be right back. No, that's not how it works. I'm going to send one of my members, shimmy them straight across the hall, straight across the room, grab them, drag that person out real fast, get them in the hands of medic, and then we're going to go on and do our thing. All right. 60% of our victims are found by the primary search. The next stat, 27% are found by fire attack. That tells me a couple different things. Number one, basically where victims are found. They're found in that room of origin and the flow path. That's 20% right there. Where's the line going? Straight through the flow path, straight to the room of origin. It makes sense that a well-trained engine crew could possibly stumble over top of that victim on their way to the seat of the fire. What else does that do for you? Number one, in deciding when you're going to search and where you're going to search as a search crew officer, I have no problem telling that engine crew, once I've located the seat of the fire for them, close the door. It's not tenable for me to commit crews into right now because maybe the room's flashed over or whatever. So we're going to go ahead and start our search across the hall, those rooms adjacent and things like that. Engine crew comes down the hall because we worked ahead of them. It's a lot easier for me to get inside the building with a Halligan bar than it is for them to get inside the building with a hose line sometimes, especially if we're showing up simultaneous. So the hose line crew, the engine crew stretches down the hallway. They get to that room of origin. As I'm coming out of the room adjacent, I say, hey, when you finish knocking down the fire, take a quick search of that room. My hands are off now. I'm done. I've just committed that room. They're searching the room of origin. I'm working my way back in those rooms adjacent, the flow path and all the other rooms coming down. If it's tenable, if I can put it with a can and knock the fire down and get inside the room of origin first, I'll absolutely do that if I can. But typically that room's not going to be tenable for us. So we're going to have to either wait or come back and get it later or commit somebody else to searching that room. But there's always survivable space. There has always got to be that idea in our head that there is survivable space in that room. How many times have you flipped over a bed inside a fully flashed over room and seen clean carpet underneath of it? How many times have you opened up a closet in a flashed over room and seen clean clothes or barely smoke damaged clothes inside that closet, or a bathroom or something like that? Just because we can't get to it right now doesn't mean somebody's not inside there that needs our help. So as soon as we have the ability to get in there, our job is to create that survivable space and search it. That's our job. That's what we have to do. And the last stat on here, 12% within 6 feet of the door. That's why taking that quick look inside with the camera before we enter, and as you're doing your 360, officers, when you're doing your 360, if you see an open doorway, stick that camera in while you're doing your 360 and take a quick look around. Make sure you don't see anybody within that 6 foot range of the door that you can quickly grab out of there.